A warm welcome back to your latest industry recap. There are two stories on United Airlines that I would like to cover for you, and also some fresh exciting news at Emirates. Want to begin firstly with United Airlines and Airbus, with the US carrier confirming the delayed delivery of the upcoming A321XLR. During a Q2 2025 earnings call, the airline's executive VP and Chief Commercial Officer stated the plane wouldn't arrive this year, nor could we expect it at the top of 2026. Instead, current forecasts indicate that the airline will take delivery of its first A321XLR for the summer 2026 season, marking yet another delay for the next generation type. In late 2024, anticipations were very much that the first A321XLR would be delivered in January 2026. However, that is now no longer feasible as the airline battles delays to the program. Once the A321XLR enters service, the older single-aisle 757s will begin being retired as the US carrier transitions to the next generation aircraft type. However, like many other global airlines, the transition towards newer, more efficient planes has been anything but smooth, especially for United Airlines, which has a heavy reliance on its single-aisle fleet, and ultimately this poses one of the biggest challenges in terms of fleet renewal. While the A321XLR steals the spotlight for the latest delay, we know the airlines also struggled massively to acquire the 737-10, and you guessed it if you figured that would be the second part of coverage on the US airline today. But I'll wait a little bit longer to give you more information on that. Despite the latest confirmed delay, the A321XLR is still expected to be a game changer for the airline, with 50 of the type on order to help elevate single-aisle flying moving forward. United has only confirmed in the last couple of months it hoped that 12 would arrive in 2026, that through executives chatting with CNBC. Now you'd imagine that figure is very much subject to change given the delays that are being encountered. It would require 12 planes being delivered in a 6-month window. That's not totally out of the realm of possibility, but Airbus would need to be on top of its game. Once delivered, the expectation is you'll see the A321XLR across many a different market that may not require a wide-body aircraft, but still need some form of service. That is exactly where single-aisle long range comes into its own. Scott Kirby, the CEO of United, said that markets such as Europe and even North Africa were within reach with the XLR to fly out of Newark Liberty. And in terms of Europe, we're looking at some of those more smaller European cities. It presents United Airlines with exciting opportunities to expand its network beyond more traditional markets, also opening up the possibility of serving smaller cities that have not been served by United aircraft due to fleet limitations that existed in the past. While the prospects remain exciting for the XLR, the jet has very much been a problem child in the early stages of its life for airlines. With the initial batch of first deliveries being delayed, we are now finally seeing the plane be delivered to more airlines and finally starting to understand with real-world examples just what it's going to be able to bring for the future. Now over to the next story, with Emirates announcing that a third daily flight will commence later this year to Dublin, Ireland, commencing on the 26th of October 2025 in time for the winter season. The Dubai-based carrier will offer its third daily flight to not just boost your passenger, but also cargo capacity. By increasing services to Dublin, Emirates says that there will be more choice available from Dubai, and it will also provide those in Ireland with the opportunity to connect to services from Dubai to all corners of the globe. Meanwhile, careful consideration has also been made to critically launch flights in October with a morning arrival and morning departure. The early nature of the flight means it perfectly complements an already existing afternoon and evening flight offered through the double daily flying that we have gotten so much used to in recent times. The announcement represents the second positive development really for Ireland in the last month, where in June Emirates announced that its newly retrofitted 777 had launched finally between Dubai and Dublin. The enhanced experience offers Irish-bound customers the latest 4-class configuration and features a product that Emirates is very proud of in premium economy. Also, a hint of a fresh business class. From October 16, the second refurbished 777 will also commence on the second daily flight, just in time for the commencement of the third daily flight, launching formally 10 days later. In terms of the flight details that you may want, well, we'll see first flight 26th of October, EK165 departing at 2 a.m, arriving into Dublin at 5:25, with a departure from Ireland as EK166 at 8:25 in the morning before arriving back into the airline's home at 10 p.m. These times all local to their respective cities. Over to the final story, and as promised, it's back to US carrier United Airlines, and instead of focusing on some of the more recent delays at Airbus, I'm going to be looking at Boeing, as their problems with the plane maker's jets continue. There remains, however, some light at the end of the tunnel. All of the problems concerning the US carrier at the moment with the American plane maker are on 737 MAX jets, as planes in the series remain uncertified and therefore are not permitted to be delivered. Despite this, there remains some light at the end of the tunnel, as the airline's chief financial officer reaffirmed his stance during a quarterly earnings call that he's hoping deliveries would come in 2027, more so in the latter stages of the year. Those deliveries are for the upcoming MAX 10, also known as the 737-10, which is the highest capacity model in the family and is intended to be integral for the United's single-aisle operations. However, the airline has faced a challenging last few years, with persistent delays on Boeing's part which have thrown their future planning off course and necessitated a change in the fleet makeup. While the hopes remain that deliveries can commence in 2027, United Airlines is not shying away from the fact that this may not be a reality in the end. Earlier reporting this year suggested even 2028 could be when first delivery is achieved. It is the unknown that makes everything all the more confusing for these major international airlines to plan around. As a result, however, contingency plans are in place that would see the US carrier take on the smaller 737-9. While being smaller in nature, what is key to understand is this aircraft is available now, so bringing it on instead of the MAX, while a different aircraft, would help minimize the loss of available aircraft serving markets. The measures that would be implemented have been carefully planned to mitigate the disruption to the long-term strategy the MAX 10 delays would have caused. However, this is still not the most optimal means forward. United has also shifted towards a greater reliance on types such as the A321neo from Airbus, as Boeing loses out on prospective deals due to its own struggles. And with such uncertainty, this again, I'll reaffirm, is what makes it so difficult for the airline to progress. That'll conclude today's industry recap. Any thoughts, you can leave them down below in the comments. Thank you very much for your support. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.
And we'll fly.